And I will start.
Hello, everyone. We've got some participants rolling in. We're going to give it just a few more seconds as people are joining us. Welcome. Few more people trickling in. But I think we can go ahead and get started. First, I want to thank everyone for joining us. My name is Tiffany Texador, and I am the Director of Marketing at Educate 360. And we are very excited to be presenting the webinar, Choosing Your Project Management Path, by our fantastic Director of Training, Andrea Bachmeyer. And before we get started, and I hand it over to Andrea, I just want to let everyone know that we're in a Zoom platform for today's session, and we'll be sharing a copy of this recording with you in an email after the webinar with the email address that you used to register. But we do encourage participation throughout the webinar, so please use the chat or the Q&A option. And if we don't get to your questions, we will also have a short Q&A after the presentation. So welcome, we're very excited to have you here. And with that, I will hand it over to you, Andrea.
Thank you so much, Tiffany, and welcome, everybody. It is terrific to be here with you and to talk about choosing your project management path. So thanks for spending your time with us today. So I want to talk about a little bit about earning PDUs and some strategies for that. I'm just going to take a quick peek at how to submit PDUs on the PMI website. Sometimes that's kind of a thing for folks to wonder about. And then, as Tiffany mentioned, some Q&A, but definitely use that chat along the way. Make comments, questions, anything. It's just really a great way to help you stay focused. And I'll just take those as they come as best as I can. That would be great. So professional development. I suspect that a good number of you probably have your PMPs, or maybe you're getting your PMP, or maybe you have your PBA or ACP or your ABD, whatever you've got, lots of letters to mix up. And as you may know, I think a lot of times when we approach getting certified as part of our professional development, that test is sort of the culmination of all of the work that we've put into that. And so we get that test done, we get to change our signature, and we kind of take a deep breath like, we're done, we did it. And yes, yes, but it doesn't end there, right? You have to keep up. It's a journey. It's a professional development journey that goes beyond getting the certification. Just like doctors and lawyers and accountants and any other kind of professional does, to continue to develop, because our professions don't stop. They don't stop evolving, and so neither can we. And that's really the premise. It's a good thing. It's a good thing for all of us to be continuing to develop ourselves to help the profession. So when we think about that professional development effort, it is an effort, right? And there are just so many different ways that we can develop ourselves. Just a whole smorgasbord of options for earning those professional development units, as we call them in the world of project management. So I want to just take a quick peek here at what folks' thoughts are about ways that they either have or plan to earn PDUs, because there are so many different ways. So I'm going to put a poll on the screen here, and you should be able to choose as many as you want, as makes sense. What are the different ways that you see yourself earning PDUs over the next number of years? Oh, great. Good numbers, good numbers. Lots of people participating. We'll give it about 10 more seconds. Awesome. Awesome. Oh, that's great. Thanks everybody for weighing in there. And look at this. How nice is this? We've got lots on all of them. Maybe not so many on the write or publish an article or a blog, but lots of different ways. I love the teaching or sharing others, volunteering. That is awesome. Taking a class, listening to podcasts, different kinds of things you can do. So that is great. It's good to know that people are already thinking about all of the different ways that they can do that. So cool. I don't know if anybody's surprised by those results, but I am. I'm thrilled with that. That's totally awesome. All right. Um, so a strategic approach then to project management professional development. Actually, in development, professional development of any kind, but particularly today we're talking about project management. So it can feel a little scattershot, right? That you've got all of those different options, and a lot of times I think it's just like, well, I have some time now, I'll do something. I have some time now, I'll try to do something, and you sort of kludge everything together. There is something to be said for being more strategic, to really kind of have a plan. You've got a period of time, several years typically, and to really be thoughtful about how do I want to grow professionally? What are the kinds of things that I want to focus on? What would I like to see? Where would I like to see myself at the end of these next couple of years? And that can be a more interesting way to approach things, to sort of have a cognitive map of how do I want to grow professionally. It can make it easier to apply what you're learning, because presumably you're learning regardless of how you're doing this. And if you have sort of a strategic objective in mind, you're thinking intentionally about how am I applying what it is that I'm learning to what I'm doing. It can actually accelerate your skill development because you are getting multiple ways of refining your understanding about something. And so they start to self reinforce, they start to reinforce each other, and you're kind of honing in on one particular area, and that can kind of build on itself. You can have a little more um, clarification around who you are professionally, and whether that's marketing yourself or just making your case in your organization for who you are as a project manager. I mean, there are literally 1 point what 2 something 3 something certified project managers out there. How do you distinguish yourself? And this can be a way to really help people understand who you are as a PM, and really make a more compelling value proposition. What can I add to my team, to my organization, to the discipline? So there are a lot of benefits to being a little more strategic about how we develop ourselves professionally. So what we've done at Educate 360 and Project Management Academy in particular is developed these PDU learning categories that we have put together to help you get a sense of what might I do to develop in certain areas. For example, the Agile Project Manager, the Strategic Project Manager, Super Power Skills Project Manager. You can do a fast track to the PM Talent Triangle. They get you out of the gate to get some PDUs in all of the categories that you need. The Certification Seeker and the Change Maker. So I want to take a look at each one of these, and I want to suggest that these are not mutually exclusive. It's not like you would necessarily pick just one, but just to give you some ideas of the ways that you can refine for yourself who you are as a project manager to make that case. Is there a link to all of the acronyms? The PMP and the PBA, those are all PMA. Well, the ABD actually I just sort of made up. It means, yeah. PMP, Project Management Professional. PBA is Professional and Business Analysis. Those are PMI certifications would be a place to start for all of those. That you could find those pretty easily on the PMI website. Yeah. At any rate, let's take a look at these. The Agile Project Manager. So, Agile is more than just, I mean, it's here. Everybody's doing it one way or the other. I am pretty strongly of the mind that every organization is on an agile journey, whether they call it that or not, whether they've brought in agile coaches and embarked on some sort of agile transformation in a formal way. We're just all having to think about how do we inject agility into our projects, our organizations, and maybe do something more around putting people in scrum teams and implementing agile practices and that kind of thing. So a lot of opportunity there for project managers to enhance their understanding of agile and how that can benefit projects and organizations and teams. So, some different classes that you can take here. Get yourself grounded in agile. The ACP, PMI ACP, there's an acronym for you, Agile Certified Practitioner, is a great certification. It's a general Agile certification. It's not specific to Scrum. And it is for any of you who have taken the PMP, it's certainly not as heavy of a lift as the project management professional exam is. But a great, well-rounded certification to have in the area of project management. Some really great resources for studying for that. Certified Scrum Master. Now that is specific to Scrum, and the Certified Scrum Product Owner. Those are both great classes, really give you a deep dive into those roles and some of those events that happen in Scrum. We have fantastic certified Scrum trainers, and the bar is pretty high on who gets to be a certified Scrum trainer. There's only a 3-digit number of CSTs on the planet, so it's a pretty elite group that you get to learn from, and ours are the best of the best. Agile business analysis. Yeah, business analysis, a great perspective to add to your project management way of approaching things. And that agile business analysis, really what's happening in an agile environment is a lot of business analysis. So that really is a great addition to that perspective. And then there are advanced certified Scrum Master, advanced certified project owner or product owner certifications as well. So a really great way to not just add some letters after your name, but to make a case for your understanding of how does Agile work and how do you reconcile that with more traditional project management practices? How can you help an organization translate what happens in a more traditional sort of waterfall environment into a way that enables us to be more agile in our approach to things? So that really is puts you in a position to have that conversation in a pretty compelling way because you understand those things. So that's one approach. The other another approach is the strategic project manager. So, we used to describe projects as how organizations adapt to change. And you can certainly still describe projects as how organizations adapt to change, right? Because I mean, a project is a vehicle for change. Everything else is same old, same old. Projects by definition are introducing a new service, product, result, something like that. But you also have heard over the years more emphasis on the idea that projects are how organizations execute their strategy. It's how they realize their strategy, and a lot more emphasis than there used to be on project managers being involved front end. Really the days of saying, okay, we've decided we're going to do this project. Here it is, PM, go ahead and execute. That's pretty old school thinking. You really need your project manager to be involved front end on understanding, if not being directly involved in maybe the business case, but certainly understanding and collaborating with the people that are developing that business case, really being dialed in on that project charter. What is the why behind the project? What are the strategic implications of this project and how it's going to help the organization get to where it needs to go? And so this is really important. You see this reflected in the standards as well. It wasn't that long ago that you started seeing the business realization plan being introduced as a document that the PM needed to know about. They don't own it, but they need to understand it. And really, if you think about it, if we're going to be good stewards of the project resources, we need to have our finger on the pulse of the strategic alignment between what we're doing on this project and the organization. We're making decisions that are going to impact how money is spent, how time is spent. We need to understand that. So, what can we do to really enhance our understanding and appreciation for that stuff and get ourselves out of that order taker role? Well, things like building better business cases. Have you ever built a business case? Do you know what you should look for in a business case? Once you do, then you can understand how to scale that, how to ask questions that help you understand what you need to know in order to be a strategic project manager. Business analysis foundations. Here's the thing. Project managers, and again, I feel pretty strongly about project managers upping their BA game, understanding what business analysis is, recognizing the BA work that they already likely do, but also really appreciating the business analysis that's done on either side of the project. The stuff that happens, the BA stuff that happens before the project gets initiated by way of that charter, and the BA stuff that happens after the project closes. Looking at that value realization. Did we actually deliver on the business case? Really super helpful in widening the perspective of a project manager in terms of the value of their project and really being that project value custodian. A PM, the professional and business analysis, the PBA, a fantastic certification. It is a rigorous exam. It's more akin to the PMP, but really enhances a project manager's appreciation for the BA work that's done on their projects. It is something that helps PMs make the case for business analysis on their projects because it is so critical. And BA work is a lot about requirements, but it's not just requirements. Too often people make those synonymous, and it's more than just that. Also, the business relationship management professional. This is a certification, an APMG certification that is all about the relationships among professionals in an organization. It's about understanding how what makes people tick and what is important to them, how when that's aligned with what's important to the organization, that's where you get really powerful collaboration. And the idea that people don't need to be just aligned, but they need to be convergent, that we all need to be supportive of each other. It's stuff that resonates with good project managers who really understand those power skills. It's a really great certification. And it's a rapidly growing certification as well. So many places you can go with a BRMP. And then the business analysis modeling essentials. Modeling, I think most people think of modeling as a BA thing. BAs have huge toolkits. PMs have big toolkits too, but BAs have they bring up the truck that opens on the back end and they've got this whole, they've just got tools and tools and tools. They don't stop. And a lot of modeling tools. Modeling is, what is a model? A model is just something that makes it easy to understand something that's complex. Often it's visual, but even a spreadsheet could be a model. And so BAs are much quicker, I think, to model than our project managers a lot of times, unless you maybe look at like a work breakdown structure, that kind of thing. And modeling is so helpful because it makes sure that everybody has a shared understanding. People can see things. Most people are visual. And so getting a little taste of some modeling essentials is just really a great augmentation to this idea of how to be strategic, because when you can get people to understand something, that really is that's helpful. When you're trying to paint the picture, that's a great way to do it. Not the slides per se, there is a recording that you will get afterwards. Yeah. So the question, will you be able to share the slides? You'll get a link to the recording. And then those superpower skills, we don't call them soft skills anymore because they're not easy and they're really critical. Influencing without authority, because no news to anybody here, PMs don't generally have authority over everybody that they're working with on the project. Facilitation skills workshop, how do you get everybody to work together, own what it is that they come up with? Eliciting requirements, yes, PMs, you do that. You elicit all sorts of things, including requirements. It's helpful to understand what that looks like. Navigating difficult conversations, just in case you have any of those. Negotiating skills. PMs are negotiating all the time with all sorts of stakeholders. So always good things to add to your bailiwick of competencies. And then the change maker, organizational change management. And that could be, maybe it's an agile transformation. Maybe it's some kind of an acquisition and merger sort of thing. Maybe it's a new platform that everybody's going to be using. You name it. We could probably come up with 50 different huge change examples here in this group, probably more, probably as many as people are here. But it's great for a project manager to understand their role as a project manager and to be able to distinguish that from organizational change management, because they do interface. They interface very tightly with business analysis as well. So again, as you increase your understanding of these things, what comes into crisp relief is your role as a project manager. That's the irony of this, is the more I learn about business analysis and the more I learn about organizational change management, the more clear I am about the project management piece that I've been doing all this time. Because there are differences. Yes, they overlap and they complement and support each other, but there are also distinctions, and you can be much more effective when you understand which hat you're wearing. And quite likely, you're certainly in a small organization, you're probably wearing all of them. But in terms of what questions do I ask, where do I need to be, what artifacts should I be looking for, to whom am I accountable? When you understand all of these things, that makes you much more effective. So organizational change management, awesome. Agile Change Agent certification, another APMG certification that's all about change management using an agile approach. And then processes, business process management foundations, process improvement, process modeling. Change almost always, well, always has some sort of impact on process. And that's what really makes people complaint is when you can change people's titles, you can change people's tools, you can do this, but mess with process, that's where the real pain comes. And so understanding what that looks like, what needs to happen there, really makes you effective. And again, projects often bring with it process changes, so that is really valuable. Here's just a smattering of courses, 3 courses that gives you the 8 PDUs that you need on each side of the talent triangle. So earning PDUs, you need some in all of the 3, the ways of working, business acumen, and power skills. These we've bundled to make it easy to get out of the gate, so that you've got 8 PDUs, your minimum, on each side of the triangle there. So interpersonal communication skills, problem solving, decision making, strategic risk management, all really great stuff. And then the certification seeker, Lean Six Sigma Green Belt, that's something that a lot of people use. Having some fluency in that language and those concepts is helpful. Certified business analysis practitioner, or the certified certified competence in business analysis. The CBAP is really a rigorous exam, very much like the PMP. The CCBA is I would say it's sort of the more akin to the CAPM. Still, though, a substantial lift. Both of these have pretty high requirements in terms of experience, but great certification. CCBA is great. In fact, yeah. So, and then the PMI risk management professional, another one to kind of broaden your perspective with those certifications. So those are the ways that we've tried to make this easy for you to get some thoughts about that strategic approach to your professional development, and really just to also think about just mechanically, what are some things logistically? How can you stretch yourself to grow? Because that's really what it's all about. And yes, it takes some effort, but it also makes life more interesting. We spend a lot of time at work, and doing the same old is okay. But think about other things that you can do to expand your horizons. Join your local PMI chapter, or your local IIBA chapter, or your local whatever chapter. You meet a lot of different people. Find out what's going in your area. Those aren't just for your job seekers. They can be great resources. There are lots of professional groups on LinkedIn. Lots of them. Check them out. Some of them are really lively, have great conversations. I've made some fantastic connections online in those groups. Write a blog. I know this might sound daunting to folks, but let me tell you, there are all sorts of publications out there that are looking and eager for new voices. And don't think you have to have something like the latest cutting edge approaches to, earn value management or something like that. You might be surprised. So rattle a few cages out there. Find out if people are interested in some guest blogs, and you get PDUs, for example, for the time you spend creating your blog if it gets published. It's cool. It's a really cool thing. You'd be surprised also what that does for your personal brand. Teach people in your organization. Share what you know. It's the best way to learn. Let me tell you, from somebody who's been teaching others for decades, the best way to learn, teach others. Facilitate a lunch and learn. Take advantage of doing something casual to learn new tools, facilitation tools online. Everybody wins on that. People learn from sharing with each other. You're going to learn, enhance your facilitation skills. Attend conferences or professional meetings, and speak at professional meetings or conferences. Again, I know that sounds really daunting, but you'd be surprised. They would be eager. Many places would be pretty eager for you to volunteer to give a 1-hour presentation, and you won't regret it. You will not regret it. I'm not saying you won't be nervous, but when you're done, you're going to be glad you did it. So encourage you to explore those things. One other poll here I just want to do real quick, and that is, of the paths that we talked about, just real quickly, what are your thoughts about which one resonates the most with you? Which one is it most appealing? Or do you think would be the best approach for you? Again, lots of responses here. Thanks everybody for responding. This is so nice. Oh, awesome. About 10 seconds. Great. Look at that. Awesome. That's awesome. Some and all of them. Fantastic. Yeah, that strategic project manager. Right on, folks. It's good. It's all good. That's cool. Very cool. Nice. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. All right, and then just a couple of other things here. Know that all of the Project Management Academy courses earn PMI pre-approved PDU credits with predetermined alignment to the PMI talent triangle. So we really make this easy for you. Again, anything you take, you don't have to think about where does this go. It's all pre-approved. And in fact, all of the courses across all of our brands issue certificates of completion, which will serve as proof for PMI PDU credits if you get audited. So just FYI on that, anything you take, and we teach everything from cloud computing, Excel, to the power skills, to project management, leadership, anything is all good. Just a quick peek at reporting PDUs. When you go to the PMI website, you're going to want to make sure you log in. You have to be logged in to do this. And then you're going to click on certification. There are different ways that you can do this, but this is kind of the easiest way. You go down to report PDUs. You can go to a dashboard. You can find a dashboard when you're logged in. That's really slick too. The dashboard, the graphics are great. I mean, their website really, this is so easy. The graphics are really nice, show you exactly where you're at on things. But once you get to that report PDUs thing, then you're going to get a screen that looks like this. And if you have a claim code, which you would get from Educate 360 or from the PMA classes, you'll get a claim code, and then you can put that in here. And then you will get a screen that looks like this. It auto-fills in everything. And then you just click, I agree, and save. Okay. And then you get an email, and it says, congratulations, your claim has been approved and you're good to go. And that response is typically pretty right away. So they make it really, really easy. If for some reason you don't have a claim code, you just put these things in. Most of these fields are actually optional. So you would just get the name of the organization and the count, the course number, and we can, you get all that information. It's pretty slick though. So on our website, we have this document available free for you. And so check this out. When you're on our site, you can get that guide, download that free. And then just a couple of final tips. Don't wait until the end of your CCR cycle, your continuing certification requirement cycle. If you have 3 years, but don't wait until 2 years and 11 months. I know people that do that, and let me tell you, you go brain dead listening to webinars or whatever. It's really hard. So again, be strategic, think about it, pace yourself, have a plan in mind. Log your hours as you go. Don't wait until the end. Don't think you're going to put them in a notebook somewhere and then log them as you go, and mix it up. Do different things. All of them have benefits. Find a good partner. We'd love to be that partner with you. We've tried to make it as easy as we can, and we'll help you in any way that we haven't identified to make it easy for you. And develop a strategy. Have a plan. That's going to be the best thing for you. There is not a claim code for this course. This is a webinar, so the claim codes are for courses, not for the webinars. Yeah. Do our trainings automatically get credited? No, they do not. You get claim codes, but they don't automatically get reported. But here we have some of our upcoming courses. So check some of those out. And that's just a smattering of all of the stuff that we have coming up. Lots of different options. So check it out. Yeah. Can you enter PDUs if you don't have? No, great question. If you don't earn PDUs until you're PMP certified, or you have a PMI certification. You earn contact hours in order to qualify to sit for the exam. Okay, so PDUs you worry about after you get certified. Yeah. This would be for, I would put this one for, I mean, it could be actually anyone. I would use it for, I guess, use it for power skills. Yeah. If we didn't get information from the last webinar or the slides, how we can make sure we get this one as well. I'm not sure. The CAPM pre-course.
Suzanne, I will make sure that you get it. Just be sure to check your email. We do send all of the recordings after to the email that you used to register. So I'll go ahead and double check that you're on that list.
Yeah. If you're enrolled in the CAPM course, that's awesome. That's great. Good. Yeah.
And to confirm, Andrea, this webinar actually counts for 0.5 PDUs, correct?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. When you record, and then when you record projects that you do it, or how do you, and this recorded. So you have to look at there's a maximum to the amount of PDUs that you can earn practicing project management. And we talked about that in our last webinar. And so I think you have to provide just a contact, I believe, and there's a way of doing that. That would be giving back in the giving back category. Yeah. I think I want to say, I'm not going to say because I'm not 100% sure. Feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. Again, my name is Andrea Brockmeyer, and I can get a specific answer to you on that question. I'd love to be connected with you. So yeah.
Andrea, thanks so much. We're a couple minutes over, and I feel like these questions could go on and on. So please do connect with Andrea. She's such a wealth of information and resources. And thank you again. Thank you all for joining us, and be on the lookout for this recording in your inbox within the next day. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, folks. Have a great rest of your week. Bye-bye.